For Cayuse Chamber of Commerce, I'm Wayne Lawrence. Is owning your own business a blessing or curse? We're going to find out today. I have Erika with me from CLE Juicebox Company. How are you, Erika?
I'm good, thank you.
So I'm not going to try your last name because it has way too many syllables. So why don't you just share with the viewers how you pronounce your last name?
It's Zakrajsek.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to try it,
A
actually.
good Slovenian name.
Okay. We could spend an entire podcast just doing that. So you really have a unique combination of offerings in your retail store, actually. And, you know, rather just kind of go into it, I'm going to just have you tell us a little bit about what you do offer.
CLE Juicebox is a drive-through juicery. It's, I think, one of the only drive-throughs that offers fresh, cold-pressed juice. So the juice is our primary product, but I also make all vegan and gluten-free food. So it's all plant-based. We make everything in-house, so nothing is processed. So a lot of people say, oh, I really want to try to eat vegan. But I also tell them that keep in mind, eating vegan does not equate to eating healthy. Vegan just means there are no animal products. So everything that we serve, we make. Nothing is processed. A lot of vegan foods can be processed. So we offer everything fresh. My mission is to enlighten people that eating plant-based is not just eating salads and carrots and greens. I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio, so I'm kind of a meat and potatoes girl at heart. So I try to recreate those meat and potatoes meals in a plant-based way.
Okay. And how is that something that evolved over time, or, you know, you said you were a Northeast Ohio girl. So did you work on a farm or anything? Did you know about plants?
No, yeah. I love to eat.
All right.
And we lived with my grandparents, and my grandmother was, in a lot of ways, ahead of her time. We ate from the garden. We had a huge garden. She was really into eating healthfully. We exercised. She rode her bike to work. She was doing all the things they tell you to do now back in the 70s.
Okay, good. And I noticed on your, it was either Facebook or your website, one of those, a picture of you as a young girl, lady, and just cooking at that point. So is that when you got this desire and love for just making things?
I always helped out in the kitchen. I loved helping cooking, cleaning. I know that picture was me scrubbing the cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
But I did love helping in the kitchen, and our kitchen was a galley-style kitchen, and one side had saloon-style shutters, and I would close everybody off, and I would come out and take their orders.
Okay.
And then go back and, I would, say it was scrambled eggs, I'm sure, but.
And you have kind of a retail presence in a sense. I mean, you drive up, and we'll talk a little bit about your drive-up window, how you came about all that. But how many employees do you have there?
With me, we have 6.
Six employees. Wow. Okay. And how long have you been in business?
That's a kind of a 2-part question, or maybe even 3-part, because I started doing private clients out of my house. I transitioned to plant-based over a period of about 15 years, personally. I was training for a marathon, and I started reading. A friend of mine introduced me to a book, Brendan Brazier, and he's a vegan ultra athlete. And I started reading his book about fueling plant-based, and I started making some of his recipes as well. And so I transitioned myself. I wanted to try to fuel more efficiently. So at about 2013, I was full on making myself plant-based meals, juicing, and a lot of people asked me to do it for them. So I had a small group of private clients that I was actually making juice for. And so it started there out of my home. My husband would go to work with like 20 cooler bags and just drop them off at everyone's desk. And from there, that was 2013. 2014, I had quit my job and bought a food trailer, not a truck. We couldn't drive away. We had to hitch it up, and it was a little tedious, but it was a good low cost of entry
Sure,
to
absolutely.
get out on the road. So basically, I was a juice truck in 2014 for a summer. And we wanted to see how it was going to go, how receptive. And I offered 3 juices, 2 smoothies, 1 sandwich, 1 salad, 1 cookie.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it was a very small space. So, we
Sure.
had to be efficient. And then in the fall time, I
And you're
started
good at it. I mean,
doing
those
soups.
things. Yeah. Yeah. Just
So I started doing 1 soup in the fall just
Okay.
to offer that. That went really well. I started gaining a following on Instagram. And then we thought we need a brick and mortar. So where I live in Kirtland. We drive Mentor Avenue. There was a little building that I saw was vacant for a while, and I thought that space it would be perfect for me. It's a former ice cream store. It had a walk-up window and a drive-through, and the drive-through is what really spoke to me because I didn't know of any drive-through juiceries.
where you can get juice. Yeah. And we're not talking about Kool-Aid and ocean spray. We're talking
Right.
about really good plant-based things that you put together. So really the business evolved over the course of time. I mean, from just a personal need to, going out and having friends and family say, hey, we like this stuff. And then even getting into the cart and then evolving to retail store. So with that and the 6 employees that you have, let me just ask you, has it been a blessing or curse owning your own business?
Well, as with anything, it's both. It's a blessing because not everyone gets the opportunity to own their own business. And kind of, for me, I am offering my lifestyle and my passion to others. My mission is to enlighten people about eating plant-based. You don't have to go full-on vegan, but I feel like every single one of us could get another vegetable in our lives. So just promoting eating more healthfully and more mindfully, how we feed our body with food and how we feed our mind it's a really important message that I want to give out to people because it's how I try to live and evolve and become more healthy as we get older. People subscribe to the fact that as you get older, you are supposed to feel like crap, and that's not true.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you hear those people in their, I'll just pick a decade, okay, in their 40s or 50s or 60s saying that's the new 30, 40, or 50. Because I think some people are trying to do better in a sense. I know the pandemic probably took a toll on people anyway from that, lack of activity, et cetera. So I think it's neat that that's a passion of yours and that you're really trying to get that message out. But we all have friends and family and people we know who, maybe they got a great cupcake and maybe they have, maybe they do dill pickles and maybe do great canned or sauce and even chili. And then they, of course, go, I should open up my own business. But it's not for everyone. So what took you from having your husband take bags to work to getting into a trailer? I mean, that's a big step. And then the step to get into a retail spot. Those are 2 really gigantic leaps.
Well, with each progression, I felt like we're filling a need. A lot of people, more people than we maybe initially thought, want to eat better and do better, drink better, but they don't want to do it themselves. And I love doing it. So for me, I don't mind doing it and doing the dishes. And I think a lot of people don't want to do all the work that's involved. It takes a lot to do. Making the juice especially it's a big process, and whether you're doing it at home or doing it in a space like we do, and I believe we have an efficient process, but there's a lot of work. And when people do get the opportunity to come into the back side of our store and see everything that we do, they're like, wow, I
Well,
can't
and
believe
it's
it.
interesting because you have, it's such a big process that I noticed that you're open maybe 2, 3 days a week and the other days are just in production to get it ready for that. So it's got to be, just very much involved and you want to do it right. How do you source your vegetables and fruits? Is it local out there or how do you do that?
I do local mostly
Yeah.
for some of the meals that we're doing because I change out the meals
Okay.
seasonally. The juicing I get from a local food purveyor. They deliver. I used to go pick it up and I used to go pick it all out in the beginning. But obviously, if I'm out on the road doing those things, then I'm not in the shop producing either. So I can't be in all those places. So our business grew enough that we could finally get deliveries
Good.
to come to our space.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we a combination of.
Okay. So you mentioned both, it could be both a blessing and curse. What is a curse? What's the biggest challenges you face as a business owner?
The 24/7 aspect of it.
You live with it, right?
We,
Every day.
yes,
Yep.
you have to, or else you're not all in, I think. So that's could be the hardest part because my wheels are always turning about, you, as you probably imagine, there's always something that you could be working on. And to know when to take a break or to have a step back or have a reboot, we all need that. You shut down your computer so that it works more efficiently. We need that reboot as well. And so to figure out when that can happen, it can be a curse. Some people never can shut down. That could be the curse. Part of the reason we are open the hours that we are, I always said we can always expand our hours, but I can't go say we're going to be open 7 days a week and then retract because I feel like there would be a negative connotation like, oh, maybe they're not doing so well because they cut
Sure.
back their
Yeah. That's well
hours.
thought out. Yeah. That's
So
smart. Yeah.
I thought, well, I can always expand our hours,
Right.
but to be open, we're open 2.5 days a week, and we work 6 to do that. Our space is 560 square feet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We do a
Yeah.
lot in that tiny little space, but I've got a crew that is very efficient. They're very forward thinking, a lot like I'm always trying to think ahead and anticipate our needs, and they do the same. And I feel like that's huge because I need people that can be that way too.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Your employees or your team members. How did you find them? Did you recruit them, and how do you train them? How do you get them bought into just your love of providing this to people to live a better, healthier lifestyle?
Every single person that works with us and that has worked with us in the past has been a customer. And a lot of times they just say, hey, if you need any help or if I'd love to help out or be a part of this. And because I feel like they get a sense of my mission is bigger than just the products that we serve. It's the whole lifestyle. And they live that lifestyle too, or they are working their way towards that or, want to. So they want to be a part of it.
Okay, so the training part of it and getting them integrated is easier because they're bought in. I mean, I guess they're vested in the whole idea of it. So it makes it a little bit easier versus someone you have to convince that this is the right thing to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it makes our customer interactions that much more special. I always say what we do is nothing special. It's how we do it is the special part because our customers, we really form a bond with them. We make eye contact. We get excited. We act extremely silly. If you've ever seen our videos on Instagram, we're very, we like to be playful about what we do. I mean, we work really, really hard. I think a lot of people do want to come work with us because they think we're having fun all the time.
Right.
But we work
Yeah.
super hard.
Oh,
At the
bet
same
you-
time.
Yeah.
But,
And it's okay to have fun while working too. I mean, when you do that.
I think it's necessary, yeah.
So, 24/7, you're at it, you're at least thinking about it as a business owner. So, what's the blessing? Is it getting the word out and the product out and having people change their lives maybe because of it? So what's the blessing? Yep.
Yeah, again, the blessing is the opportunity to be able to do this. And yes, when people come and say, didn't feel so great last week, and you gave me this. You gave me your turmeric broth, and you suggested this, and I can't tell you how much better I felt, and I can't tell you how much better I'm feeling incorporating some of your products into my lifestyle. Again, I would never dismiss someone and say, oh, you can't do this or you shouldn't do that. Do your best.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm supportive in
Yeah.
anyone's efforts. I always say just, buy what you can afford and source local if you can. Just do your best.
Yeah, and I think that's important, the sourcing local if you can too, because you're in a community. So if you can find those to buy from or sell to within the community, I think it's just helps that community grow, which is fantastic. And I think that's a good target to go after. And I'm familiar with your retail store. As you said, there were probably over the course of time. I think at one point it may have been an ice cream shop or pizza place or something. And
All of those.
yeah, it was everything. It's
Yes.
a cute little store there.
I
You're
love-
also surrounded by. I'm sorry. You're also surrounded by a lot of pizza places and things like that. So was part of it just getting those people to come out after getting their takeout and see this? Hey, go, wait a minute. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I was opening in my space, I had a ton of support from my friends that would come and, get something from us. And they were very supportive, both physically coming to the shop and sharing in social media and just getting their word out to their friends and saying, hey, go visit my friend. She's doing this, this, and that. But what's really always amused me is you could see the look in their eye because bringing plant-based and the products that we have to that area was I feel a risk because it's not prevalent. There really isn't any other place like us. So you could see when they would look at me, they'd be like, good luck, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck is
Good
luck is
but
right. So
I believe in what I do, and I knew in my mind that if it didn't work, it's not because I didn't work hard or believe in my product. Maybe it just wouldn't be the right time. But I felt like I stayed true to what I was doing.
And we all know that you just don't hang your shingle and open up, especially when you're talking about what you're doing from a retail aspect. I mean, there's product planning, there's menus, there's packaging, all those things that you had to go through. And I think some viewers think that you just, hang your shingle and put it out there. How did you work your way through that process? Did you have other people helping you? Did you have a marketing background? How did you determine, what type of packaging or bottling you're going to have? What does your menu look like and offerings?
Well, a lot of it was, with social media, you can do research. You can research companies all over the world and kind of pick and choose the aspects that you like about their business and tailor it to what kind of message or product that you want to have. I did hire a marketing firm to do my logo, and she Studio Chartreuse in Lakewood. Charity is the owner, and she came up with we worked together and came up with a logo and a brand and kind of like the vibe that I wanted to set. And then packaging I feel like we're still constantly trying to find the best packaging. Being in a very small space, I need products that can do multiple jobs, not only from a packaging standpoint, but from an inventory standpoint. Like the produce that we use has to hold up well and then also have multiple jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
Because our space is very tight.
Sure, right,
Yeah.
exactly. You want to limit anything that spoils as well, too,
Yeah.
just from a cost standpoint. I try to always point out that being a small business owner, you feel like you're on an island. You really do. And do you have a support network? Do you have people that you can talk to about business? Or is it just friends and family? Do you have other business owners? How do who helps you get through the tough days?
For Friends, all of the above. Friends,
Okay.
families, other business owners. I feel like I get my best ideas, not to pun intended, but in an organic way. If I'm out and about having lunch and I just strike up a conversation either with the owner of the business where I'm at, or I'm sitting next to someone who happens to be an owner of a local business, I feel like sharing ideas organically is best for me instead of going into a more structured format,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
it makes a lot of sense. I agree with that. I mean, I spent a lot of time talking to other businesses. It's just natural. I mean, I think when I had first met you, we just had a brief conversation about your business because, we just kind of want to share, but more importantly, we also want to learn what they're going through because it could be, very, very helpful for all of us. So let's go back to this retail spot again, too, because once again, you just dove into it. You got this space. Is it under lease? How many years do you have?
We bought the building.
Oh, you bought the building? Okay.
Yeah, that was really important to
So
me.
you really dove in. I mean, head first, arms and everything. Yeah.
It was important to me to be able to have full control
Okay.
of my hours, pretty much everything that was related to the business.
Okay. And are there any plans in the work, or what does it look like a year, 2, 3 years down the road? I'm sure you're in some sort of strategic planning mode. So is it distribution somewhere? What's the idea?
Distribution, probably not, because we don't pasteurize our product.
Okay.
So everything we do is fresh.
Sure.
So everything we make in-house has to be sold in-house. I don't intend to ever go the pasteurization route.
Okay.
Me personally, just because it's a product that I personally would want. So I want to serve only what I would eat or
Sure.
drink.
That's fair enough. Yeah, absolutely.
So I've thought about possibly another space, or I hate to use the word franchise because nothing wrong with franchising, but our business is so unique and so personal. So having another space that someone would manage would be a special person, probably someone who already works at our
Oh, sure. Yeah.
in our space that gets everything that we do,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And, the person who's going to work hardest at it is the person who believes in it the most. So have an employee or somebody or even a friend or family member who's bought into it, that would be the best potential for success, I would think, at least from the start, from, just kind of getting out there started. How do you go about marketing? I know you have a pretty good social media presence. You get a lot of information out and you do it very timely. Is that your primary source of getting new customers?
Social media, yes, but our business grew from the people that come to our business. So many people shout it from the rooftops, go to CLE Juicebox, go to CLE Juicebox. And honestly, it makes me want to well up about, just how much of cheerleaders people have been for us. It's just enormous. Being a small business, opening up in Menor from the ground up, nobody really knew anything about us. I mean, I didn't even have a sign. I stuck out a little sandwich sign, and first our friends started coming through, and they would tell somebody, and it just grew from word of mouth. Honestly, the power of the word of mouth is huge. And what I like about that is the people that come to our shop, they already, because someone told them what we do, they already get what we do. They come and they're like, they don't have sticker shock because, what we do isn't cheap to make. So our prices, they're not inexpensive. I try to have a price point for everyone, something for everyone, but it's not cheap what we do. So people that come to our shop they understand that.
Okay. And so we're going to have people who watch this who, as I mentioned earlier on, who maybe have that thing that they make or, that they produce at their home and their friends and family love it and they tell them all the time. And they're going to contemplate jumping in. What advice would you give them that maybe you learned throughout the process that you wish you would have known back then? What would you tell them?
Well, if you love your product and you want to get it out there and you feel like it's filling a need or, a want or a need, then put your head down and work your tail off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And don't get distracted by social media, other people that may do similar things to what you do. Don't compare yourself. That's huge because it might cause you to lose focus if you are trying to chase after what someone else is doing. And I feel like in the beginning, I was looking at all of what other businesses like me were doing, and I was almost losing sight of what I wanted to do because I was trying to do what everyone else was already doing.
Well, that is great advice. It really is. And here's why. Over the course of time, if I've spoken to small business owners, everyone has their opinion. Everyone can tell you how to run your business or what you should do, the next juice to introduce because this is the next popular one, et cetera. And that's great because you can kind of take it in and it's just another data point. But that's it, just a data point. At the end of the day, you have to make the determination what's going to be best for your business, what you feel comfortable with, and then you have to be able to support that decision either way. I always joke with some people who tell me how to run my business. First, if you'd like to buy a part of it, you could, and then you can really have a say in it. But more importantly,
I'm going to use that line.
Exactly. Yeah, you can certainly participate in that part of it. But the other part is simply, hey, listen. Go ahead and try it yourself too. There's always a better way, and we always want to learn from that. So, Erika, thank you very much. There's been people are going to be watching, listening, and just, the story's fascinating. And, I agree with something you said earlier on. If it starts with a passion, a real passion for life and health benefits or whatever that thing is to you, you're going to have a better opportunity for success. And then you're willing to work that 24/7. So I wish you the best of luck. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks
I think
for
a lot of
having
people are going to learn from you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
This podcast was made possible with the support of our sponsors. Find more ways to grow at chieast.org.